सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज.
The miseries of material existence and the most hopeless conditions of life is the best possible opportunity to turn to God.
You're listening to Bare Knuckle Bhakti Shorties on the Bhakti Recovery Podcast with Jiva G, coming at you every Monday with a little spiritual something. Good morning, friends. Weather report. Fall has fallen upon us. It is chilly, guys. I don't know what this weather report thing is that I feel like I need to share with you guys. It is gray and it is chilly, and it seems like Berlin is offering autumn. Anyway, so what I was thinking of doing in my little shorties these days, let's see, I'd like to go through the steps again. I really would. Just go through each step for the next 12 weeks. I attempted this, I think, 2 years ago or a year ago or something, and sort of squirreled off afterwards and forgot that I was even doing it. So, so bear with me. I'm sure my amazing team will tell me, hey, don't get off topic. But before I do dive into the first step, I want to talk a little bit about Bhakti Recovery Group, the topic, how it works. And so I'm going to read it to you, and we're going to go through this together. Because I think it's really important. If you're, I know a lot of our listeners are in a 12-step program, maybe some aren't. I know some people are just devotees who are 12-step curious, or some 12-step people who are bhakti curious. And sometimes I feel that a lot of people come to a meeting, but they don't really know the basis. And I don't mean our regulars, just some people who'd like to come, but don't really understand what we're doing or don't have a good idea. And so this is why I will read how it works from the Bhakti Recovery Group. You can always go back to it and read with me. All you got to do is go to our website, bhaktirecoverygroup.com, and go and click on how it works. So let me start by reading, and we will go paragraph for paragraph and step for step. And any questions you may have, you can definitely write us. The Bhakti Recovery Group leads the way into a newfound life. These 12 steps are the foundation of our program. Our experience shows that when we work these steps with a sponsor, come to meetings on a regular basis, and help others who are struggling, we do recover. We ask Krishna to help us fully surrender to him through this program and to practice these principles in all our affairs. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory. If this is something that you would like to follow, then it says it in the very first sentence. The Bhakti Recovery Group leads the way into a newfound life. Whether you want to follow or not, that's completely every individual. It's up to them. And these 12 steps are the foundation of our program. So this is sort of what we build on. And we will be reading those 12 steps after this paragraph. And through our experience, it shows that when we work the steps with a sponsor, that's somebody who will take you through the steps, take you through the program, explain to you what we're doing, and give you a very solid, simple way to go through a process of exploring and even, well, if not even, exploring a process that will actually bring you to a spiritual solution. And it's quite similar to the spiritual solution that Arjuna found in the Bhagavad Gita, that Arjuna found by surrendering unto Krishna, where it says in 1866, just surrender unto me, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. That verse, 1866, is the spiritual solution. However, we all must go through a process, including Arjuna in the Gita. Arjuna was standing on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and he had to literally let go of every single thing he learned. He was a very educated man. He was a stellar warrior. He was a Brahmin, which means he was just of royalty. The utmost gentleman. He learned everything perfectly. And he stood in all of the values that he learned in life, and all of these things that he was attached to, that he identified with. He found himself standing on a battlefield, speaking with Krishna and saying, I can't fight. This situation caused him to listen to God, listen to Krishna, and abandon everything that he's learned about himself and everything, and trust Krishna that he knows what's best. He was faced with fighting his family, his teachers, people he loved and respected. And Krishna said, this is all written, it's done already. And for him to go through that whole process of holding on and being convinced that he's right from all of the things that he's learned, and to go through that and to let go of all that and just trust God, this was an incredible journey that we all have to go through. And the 12 Steps offers a way of doing that in a very, very simple way. It's not easy, but it's a very simple program. So, 1, we admit we were powerless over our anartas, addictions, and associated behaviors, and that our lives had become unmanageable. This means we see our powerlessness, not our helplessness, people, but our powerlessness. We see our powerlessness. We can't change the weather. We can use an umbrella. We can't change the fact of a tidal wave, but we can get out of the way if karma allows. And we're powerless over certain behaviors that we have, over our nartas, over those kind of things. And then we realize that, and we realize that our lives had become unmanageable, whether that's an inside job or an outside job. Our lives, manageability looks different for each and every one of us, just as our karma is different from each and every one of us. That means we come to a point where we admit that we are powerless. We're not God. Yeah, just simply, we're not God. We're not Krishna. But we do have forces that drive us to do things we don't want to do and make decisions we don't really want to make, because we are awakened to the fact that we are pure spirit souls. And we have that knowledge that's being uncovered on a daily basis. But being covered by our anartas, those are the things that get in the way. And anarta is what just simply gets in the way. Bad behaviors, habits, addictions. And when I say associated behaviors, that means codependency. That means having patterns of being an adult child from a highly dysfunctional family, or an alcoholic family, or an addicted family. So I think that's explanatory. We admit we were powerless over our anartas, addictions, and associated behaviors. Not helpless, but powerless. And that our lives had become unmanageable. Whether that's an emotional life from the inside, that we can't control those emotions, or that we don't have power over those emotions, Sometimes we have let's put it in the most simple things. Road rage. How many people, we could bite our tongue, but we still have those feelings, right? We have to start by zipping it up. Sometimes we have to start by acting our way into good thinking. So whether your life is unmanageable on the outside, which it had for me, it was inside and outside, or some people just, they're high functioning in dysfunction. You can manage your life, you can get your things going, but your inside emotional life is very unmanageable. And that's the first step, that admittance. The second step is that we come to believe that Krishna, a power greater than ourselves, can restore us to sanity. That means we have faith. We will have faith that Krishna, who is greater than ourselves, can restore us to sanity. That means, remember when I said before that we all have this inherent knowledge of God? We have this inherent knowledge of what's right and what's wrong that's within us. We come to believe that we listen to that voice, that greater voice of reason, which is through Krishna and through Krishna's grace. And we learn to trust that. And even if we don't know what that is, that's why we read these things. That's why we're in Bhakti Yoga. That's why we read the Gita. That's why we hang out with people who are intensely, what is the word in English? Who are busy with this. Yeah, and restoring us to sanity means, we don't have to say that we're insane, but healthy thought, good decision-making, solid spiritual knowledge of which we rely, and not on our insane outward ideas and conditions. Mine are insane. I don't know about you guys, but mine are insane. That's a great idea. I'll just do the stupidest things and be like, that's a great idea. But I hadn't been listening to Krishna or the better voice. I'm better at it. I don't do that as much anymore. And the decisions I make aren't as insane. And I'm thankful for that. 3, we make a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of Krishna as we understand him. And I'm going to add something in there, which I'm going to change actually on the website. I haven't done that yet. I've made a conscious decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of Krishna as we understand him. That means I consciously decide on a daily basis, whether that be daily minutes or daily hourly or daily 3 times a day or 1 time a day or 2 times a day, whatever it is. But I need to make those decisions and I need to really make a conscious decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of Krishna as I understand him. Now, why does it say as I understand him? Prabhupada talked about his books of Bhagavad Gita as it is, not as we understand it. But this is meaning something different. This is meaning we can only understand Krishna where we're at. And at the Bhakti Recovery Group, that is fully acceptable. Wherever we're at, wherever we are in our conditionings, wherever we are in our journey, we can only understand as it is, as we understand it. I know that that's sort of an oxymoron, but for us addicts, it's a very important, recovering addicts and recovering codependents and recovering dysfunctionals. It's so important because my understanding is not static. My understanding is ever moving and ever changing and ever deepening. It's a process. And I accept the Bhagavad Gita as it is, exactly as it is. But it's still through my conditioning because I can't separate myself yet from those conditionings. I don't think I'm going to do it in this life either, but I can sure try. So the first 3 steps are really just about letting go of power, believing Krishna can restore me to being fully connected with him, and making a conscious decision to turn my will and my life over any situation. Not even my will and my life, any situation I can do. Any time of the day, anything. I can say, Krishna, take this. I cannot. And I don't want to go too much into the steps because I'm going to go through them after this shorty. I'm going to go through them one by one. Next Monday, we'll start with 1. So step 4, we make a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. What the heck does that mean, moral inventory? It means that in order for us to do all of these things, to further this journey, even Arjuna did it. Arjuna did it too. Arjuna was like, okay, let me go through my life. Let me go through my conditionings. Krishna was telling him about, this is your duty. These are the things you have to do. And you have to sort of go through your past in order to, some people do at least, not everybody, but to name those things, all those anartas, addictions, associated behaviors, all those things that get in the way. I need to know exactly what they are. So I go into to the cellar of my mind. I bring those things to light and I make a list of them. There's something else to think about it than it is to put it on paper. 5, we admit it to Krishna, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. We name it, and in a humble mood, we admitted it to Krishna, we admit it to ourselves, and to another human being, preferably your sponsor or someone you trust in the program, the exact nature of those things that we found in that inventory. And that has a lot to do with being humble. It's humbling ourselves before. It's embarrassing, some of those things. It's shameful, some of those things. But those are the things that keep us. Secrets grow in the dark. We need to bring it to the light. 6, we are entirely ready to have Krishna remove all these defects of character. Everything that we've named, we're ready to have Krishna remove them. All of them. It's not saying that we're going to do anything. It just means that we've now exposed the light to them and we offer them up to Krishna. Krishna, please, this is up to you. All of my conditionings, all of my attachments, all of these things, please, I offer them to you. And I'm willing now for you to take them and to remove them. I wish that was a one and done, people. I wish I could tell you, and I did that and everything was good, happily ever after. Close the book. No. There's always something going on. 7, we humbly ask him to remove our shortcomings. That means after we've noticed them and we've said them and we offer them up, we ask him to remove them. That's because we become ready. We were entirely ready. Some of our character defects, we're not ready to remove that. We're not ready to let them go. I'm not ready to let them go. And when I'm ready, I'll ask Krishna to do it. Some of these things we're so attached to, we're not ready. Some of these things are survival things that we need for our survival. It's also, or we think we do, because we're in survival mode, some of us. Some of us have been abused, beaten. We've done so many things, and so many things have been done to us. That some of those issues, like not letting people into your life or not being able to let love in your life, because love means danger. Love means getting hurt, being vulnerable. These things, that's some of us have to have a whole lifetime of opening those doors, little by little, having them slammed shut again by getting hurt and then opening again. And through this program and through the steps and through all of that, we're safe to do so. That's what we need to learn. And we need to do these steps so that we can show up for other people and be their safe space, so they don't have to keep slamming it shut. It's so important. So after we do that, we take step 8, is we made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. And you put yourself, my dears, on the very first of that list. We have hurt ourselves in so many ways and hurt our spiritual progress in so many ways by so many anartas and associated behaviors. And we have hurt others in so many ways. Everyone, you'll know those ways when you look at your 4th step. You'll know them. Before you do the 9th step, you have to talk to your sponsor. You make the list of all people you had harmed, and you became willing to make amends to them all. You check that with your sponsor first to make sure that's really amends you have to make, or without amends hurt anyone, because we come to the 9th step and we made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. Some amends cannot be made. Sometimes we have tragically, some people, I know people who have introduced other people to heroin, and those people have died. The only way that you can make amends is just maybe show up to the next person. Amends is not, hey, I'm sorry. Amends is, I'm going to do something. You're literally living amends. That means if you've killed somebody, well, you haven't killed that person, but if you've introduced somebody to the poison that killed them, it is so important to help the next sick and suffering addict or alcoholic to find sobriety. That's how you can make amends. Yeah. That's an extreme situation. For the smaller situations, or I don't even want to call them smaller, I just want to call them other situations. For other situations, such as maybe you had cheated on your husband and you're happily married since 25 years, and you did it 10 or 15 years ago, I'm not sure if that's an amends that will disrupt. That's something, the guilt you're going to have to prey on. So I'm not saying to hide things from but that's just an example. You have to talk about that with your sponsor. And I'm not your sponsor, so. Okay, step 10. We continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. This means at the end of a day, this is just an example, at the end of the day, you can just take a little small inventory of your day just to make sure you're still on track, to make sure you're still in tune with Krishna. And doing the right thing and making right decisions and not hurting people on the way or hurting yourself on the way, just so that you know you're on track. 11, we sought through prayer, meditation, and the chanting of the holy names to improve our conscious contact with Krishna, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. This is the step of which I would love to live on a daily basis. And I try to, actually. I aspire to live in this space, seeking always prayer, seeking always through meditation, seeking always through chanting, to improve my conscious contact with Krishna, praying for knowledge of His will, not me, His will for me, and the power to carry that out. And we start to get to know His will in step 3, right? We make a decision, a conscious decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of Krishna. What a beautiful space to be in. What a beautiful, beautiful space to be in. Yeah. 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to those seeking recovery and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to those seeking recovery and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. You know what that means, right? That means having gone through all of these steps, having done this, we take this to the others who are still suffering, people who are seeking recovery, and we give it away. This is the service step, people. We can't keep what we have if we don't give it. It was so freely given to us. Please let us give it to someone who we received it. People were willing to take us through the steps. How does that pan out with Krishna's will for us if we keep it all for ourselves? All right, those are the steps. And now we have the rest of how it works, which is a few more paragraphs. Honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness are all we need. We must remember that many of us have spent most of our lives trapped in various addictions to drugs, alcohol, sex, love, codependency, eating disorders, gambling, shopping, working, and other dysfunctional behaviors. Not that working is a dysfunctional behavior, but if you're doing it as in an addict way, yeah, we're talking about workaholism and other dysfunctional behaviors. So we beg of you to be fearless from the very start. We need to be honest, open-minded, and willing, because that's all we need. If we're there at that space, and we remember where we come from, and you're fearless about those things, and we know, so here's the second part, our lives didn't become unmanageable overnight. So remember, we practice these principles in our daily lives with patience and humility. We allow the process of Bhakti 12-step recovery to guide us into this new way of life. We have taken birth in Kali Yuga, an age of quarrel and hypocrisy. Therefore, we are prone to the never-ending pursuit of material sense enjoyment in its extreme. Bound and blinded by Maya, we ran around life trying to fill that God-sized hole with material sense enjoyment in its extreme. We used people, places, and things, but nothing seemed to work. Repeatedly stuck in this cycle of insanity and expecting different results, but the results were always the same: pain, devastation, and for some of us, even death. All right, let's get into this. We've taken birth in the age of Kali, in Kali Yuga. This is the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. That's a whole nother topic, and I'm not going to get into it. Just believe me, we are in the age of quarrel. And just look around. Look around in the politics, look around in how people are pitting against each other. It's just, this time is very, very quarrelsome and hypocritical. You know, we are then prone to the never-ending pursuit of material sense enjoyment because we want out. We want to hook onto the things that are going to make us feel better and not keep us stuck in all of this, right? And once we're attached to that, then we're on that roller coaster of good, bad, duality, those kind of dualism, this whole journey of being, as soon as we attach ourselves to our conditionings, attach ourselves to identifying ourselves as liberal or conservative or whatever it is that we attach ourselves to being, then we're in that cycle. And we can't get out of that cycle. And we're just trying to fill that God-sized hole with material sense enjoyment. We're just trying to get more of that. We use people, we use places, we use things. But tell me, does it ever really work? It says here, nothing seemed to work. So we are repeatedly in that cycle of insanity, expecting different results. This time it's going to be better. This time I'm going to feel better. This time, this thing, this person, this place, this thing will make me feel better. But if we're really honest with ourselves, at the end of that attachment to joy or attachment to this, there are some painful things. There's devastating things. And people who use drugs, there's death. Even for some of us, death. That's what I mean. I mean, we all have to die, but we don't all have to die with a needle in our arm in some squat somewhere, if that even exists anymore. I'm so old. Many of us are practicing bhakti yogis involved in temple communities. Some of us may be reluctant to share that we struggle with addictions or associated behaviors. The BRG is a safe, anonymous space for sharing honestly. Sharing in confidence is vital for our spiritual growth. It's so vital. So many of us are practicing bhakti yogis who are involved in temple communities like me. I break my anonymity because I'm praying to God that my anonymity that's broken is going to help somebody else. Here I am in recovery from drug addiction, from codependency, from all kinds of things. And I'm not reluctant to share, but some people are, and that's really okay. It's not their calling. Some people, it's not their calling to make themselves an example. But you can be so helpful by showing up to meetings Maybe it's embarrassing to say that you struggle with some of these anartas or addictions or associated behaviors. The BRG is safe. It's a safe, anonymous space for sharing honestly. And that is the most important thing. Being transparent and vulnerable. It's like I said before, we open the door a little bit. We learn that we are here a really sacred Sangha here at the Bhakti Recovery Group. We are conscious of each other. We are loving with each other to the best of our abilities for where we are, right? We share in confidence because it is vital. Because if we're lying to other people, then we're lying to ourselves. And even if we're not lying to ourselves and just lying to other people, it's not about running around life trying to tell everybody where you're at. It's about being able to share that anonymously in a space that's safe for you to grow spiritually. Correct? We are born into this body with this diseased condition. This may be our karma. But with these simple tools, we are now able to take responsibility for our recovery. So this means, for me, I'm born into this body. Karmically, this is what I got. People, this is what I got. This is my karma. And this is what I got to work with. I'm not directly responsible or consciously responsible for what's going on now, but I am. And if I want a better life, now I have the possibility of taking responsibility for my recovery. There we go. Step by step, we move towards living in spiritual solutions and move away from the shame and blame of our past. Yeah, through the 12 steps, going to meetings, sharing, doing service, we start to move away from that. By working these steps and practicing bhakti devotion, we become grateful, and slowly the veil of Maya lifts. Slowly we start to see things for how they really are. We start to see the process as it is. Our outlook on life changes. It really does. And we come to know that everything is by Krishna's arrangement. And in gratitude, we begin to know a life free from the bondage of the false self. We come to know that everything is by Krishna's arrangements. That's the 11th step. We come to know that this is Krishna's will for us, and we pray for the power to carry that out. And we accept it. That's acceptance. And we take it with gratitude. And we begin to know a life free from the bondage of the false self, which are our conditionings and the things we're attached to. And at the end it says, so keep coming back and don't leave before the miracle happens. And even when the miracle happens, don't you leave. Because if you do leave, then you can't share the miracle with other people. Because we're all miracles when we're going through this, aren't we? That's how it works, my friends. My little chuckly friends. Okay, so that's it. It is 10 to 10 in the morning here, and I have got to get my butt up and go to work. I'm going to work today. Remember, before this Wednesday, the 24th of September, 2025, here in Berlin, in Irenenstraße 21, is our first Berlin Yo-hoo Bhakti Recovery Group in-person meeting at 7 p.m. Please come. Anyone who's listening, who's living in Berlin, just come by. Don't be shy. Just come by. All right. I love you guys. Feel free to go to the website. Feel free to look through it. There's so much information on the website, so much. And there's so much stuff coming up. We're doing an anniversary celebration. I don't have it in my head. I'm not going to say any dates. Look, it's on the events page. It's in October. We have Kastuba Prabhu speaking on how this all started. We have Raghu Prabhu. And we have Mahatma Prabhu, who's been a huge champion of the Bhakti Recovery Group. We love him so much. And and this will all be taking place online. It will take the morning. So please go look and check. Also, if you love what we're doing, if you are a champion of recovery, or if you are just in recovery, or if you've gotten something from these podcasts or from the Bhakti Recovery Group, I'm just trying to make this world a little bit of a better place. And if this is not if you can't do service in one way or another, it would be really nice to make a little donation, or a big donation if you'd like, to the Bhakti Recovery Group. Just go to our website. There's a donate page. You can do it either via Wise or via PayPal. I know PayPal is kind of a headache, but that's what we got to work with here in Europe, here in Germany. All right, my good friends, I love you all, and I'll see you next Monday. Hari Hari Bo. Thanks for listening. I hope you liked the Monday Shorties. Don't forget to check out our full-length episodes on Thursdays. If you like what you heard, spread the word. Peace out.
सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज.
The miseries of material existence and the most hopeless conditions of life is the best possible opportunity to turn to God.